Hi guys, welcome back to our channel. If you are new here, my name is Sarah and we are a minimalist family who is living big with less, and today we're going to be talking about kids and cleaning. So if you are looking for some ways that you can help energize and motivate your kids towards cleaning and tidying, I have some tools that have worked really well for me and I can't wait to share them with you. So guys, first of all, I would just like to say when it comes to parenting or anything in life really, everyone is completely different and I don't think that there is one magical way that is going to work every single time. So when it comes to parenting techniques, I like to have as many tools in my toolbox as I can, and that I can sort of filter through these depending on the child and the circumstance. And so any tips and tricks that I give you today, please make sure that you take what you like and leave what you don't. So guys, my first tip for you is my favorite, and I think above all, this is the one I come back to most often, and that is do it together. So when you are cleaning, to have your kids come and do it beside you, or to be like, hey guys, let's get in and clean this room together. Especially if you have children with special needs, this is so helpful. One, it makes them feel included in the process. It helps them to stay on task if you're there with them. And it also helps to create an atmosphere of positive attention, that you're there to help, to work alongside each other, to work together to get a job done. So for a lot of kids, this is a really good motivator. You obviously have to choose your times right. And I find that sort of giving a warning of, hey guys, in 15 minutes, we're all gonna pitch in and clean this room, or hey sweetheart, in half an hour, I'm gonna come back so that we can tackle your room together. Those sorts of things, one, help kids prepare, and two, it helps you to work alongside them. For probably the whole of humanity, we have learned to work alongside each other, whether that is adults and children or adults together. It is how we are geared to work. And so when we're doing it with someone else, it makes the job seem that much easier. And it also makes kids feel more motivated because you're doing it at the same time. It is much easier to convince a child to go and do it if you're not sitting on the couch relaxing, asking them to get up and do it. If you're in there together, that can help to sort of keep them motivated. There's no excuses because you're in there doing it too. So if you haven't tried this one already, it's my favorite. Number two, and I cannot believe that this still works even after 14 years of parenting, it is make it a game. So for my kids, saying, hey, who can get there first, making it a race, who can pick up the most things, those things just help to kickstart some cleaning, particularly if one of your kids is in a bit of a funky mood. It gives them a really good sort of brain shift that they don't even realize that what they're doing is cleaning because they're so focused on playing the game. Now with my older kids, we do all sorts of funny things, but with one of my daughters, she loves it if I pretend to be a Karen, and so she'll be doing something and then I'll just come in and like whinge about things like, oh, this isn't even clean, I want to speak to the manager, and just breaking up this monotonous task with a bit of laughter and a game, that positive interaction that we have with each other, it's so fun. So any opportunity you have, whether it's, you know, telling kids to find 10 things to pick up and see who can be the first, or making it a race, anything you can do to make it more fun. It's fun for adults just as much as it is for kids. Number three is particularly good for little ones, and that is let them do what they enjoy. So obviously picking up toys probably isn't going to be the toddler's favorite, and that's something that you can definitely still work into it, but other things might be their favorite. So my youngest, when he was little, loved to vacuum. So I would add sort of like the precision nozzle head to the vacuum. There was absolutely nothing he could hurt by vacuuming the couch with it. He was only going to pick up dust and things that needed to be picked up. It doesn't matter if it's not perfect, but he had such a fun time doing it. And so I would make these jobs his jobs, and that gave him ownership over that job, and he also really enjoyed doing it. He felt like a big boy, and it was a great way of introducing him to the idea of cleaning and helping out as a family. Obviously, as your kids get older, this dynamic changes a little bit, but even with my sort of middle school aged kids, things like wiping windows down and stuff like that is a little bit more appealing to them than maybe picking up items or cleaning a bathroom. So I will sort of try and suss out what I think they might enjoy, and if at all possible, I will give that job to them. Particularly in the early years, this is really helpful because it provides a positive attitude towards cleaning. It's something that's fun, it's something that you get to do, not that you have to do. And so one of the things I would do with all of my kids when they were little is give them a spray bottle with just water and a small amount of white vinegar and let them go to town. They really couldn't do any harm by spraying these things down and wiping them off. Of course, my windows never turned out perfectly, and I might have to come back and wipe that bench after them, but the fact that they had a practice at it, that they felt part of the process, and that it was something that they enjoyed to do, even though it might not mean that the job is done perfectly, it does instill in them that cleaning is something that we can get to do, not something we have to do. Number 4, and this works for adults just as well as it works for kids, and that is to set a timer. Sometimes when we need our brain shift, when we need to get over procrastinating, setting a timer is a great way of punching procrastination in the face. So setting a timer, particularly with older kids who understand time, is a great one. So, hey guys, we're all gonna pitch in and we're just gonna do this for 10 minutes. And for a kid, 10 minutes is a short amount of time. They can go back to whatever they were doing. It's something that they can achieve really quickly and get it out of the way. Another thing that I like to build into our schedule around timers is natural timers. So maybe setting up your morning so that you finish about 10 minutes before you have to leave the house, and then you've got that 10 minutes of built-in time before you have to leave for school or sports or wherever you're off to, and you can use that 10 minutes to do a quick pickup around the house or a quick time to finish off those jobs, picking up towels, putting dirty clothes away, whatever it looks like. You've got that natural timer built in. This can also be used before a fun thing as a way to motivate kids to just get some things out of the way. Hey, we're gonna go to the park, but first we're gonna do 5 minutes of cleaning together. Hey, we've got 10 minutes before we are leaving to go to the theme park. Let's get this stuff done. So just working in those natural timers is a great way of just getting some stuff done without it being a super long period of time. Another thing you can do is using those timers that occur organically. So things like if you're waiting for something in the microwave, if you're waiting for the bathtub to fill. Kids don't like to be bored. None of us really do. And so it's a great way to just fill up those spare moments of time instead of them watching a TV show. Hey, let's tidy up the bathroom. Hey, let's wipe this down while the bathtub fills. It's a great way of just working in those little moments so that they can help out again and again. Number 5 is to create a playlist. So I find that playlists work really well for kids, not just around cleaning, but actually around moving them through different parts of the day. So, you might put on certain music to try and get them sort of motivated to get ready for school or leaving for the day that are a little bit more upbeat. And we have a separate soundtrack that we use in the evenings, which will help them to wind down, to get ready for sleep, that are sort of more those chill vibes, letting your body know we're moving towards sleep. So the same thing works for playlists and cleaning. So you can create a playlist that's full of fun songs, and you can say, hey, we're going to do 3 songs worth of cleaning and then we're going to be done. Another thing is for little ones that don't have a good concept of time, where a timer really doesn't mean that much to them. They do understand about how long their favorite song is. So you can put on a fun song and say, hey, one of my kids' favorites is Thunder by Imagine Dragons. And so I could say, hey, we're going to clean just for this one song. And of course, you're not going to get your whole house cleaned in that time, but most of the time I can get my kids to pick up all of their toys in that time, or they can run and pick up a towel or make their bed really quickly. And so those little bites of time are easy for young kids to understand, and it's super fun to clean with a playlist. Number 6 is a big one for parents, especially if you have some OCD tendencies like me, and that is to lower your expectations. So the way I clean is not going to be to the same standard my kids clean, and that's never my goal. My goal is to teach them the skills of cleaning and keeping things tidy so that they can find what they need, and however they do it is absolutely fine. If I can see that they've tried their best, that's all that matters. And so I try and give a lot of praise, particularly around cleaning, and I want to encourage them that when they've done their best, that's what matters most. And let me tell you, even a kid cleaning a window is going to look way better than what it did before they started. And so sometimes I just have to remind myself that this job is now done. Okay, it's not done perfectly. It might be done in a different way or a different ending to how I would do it, but we are still one step closer to a cleaner house, even if a 3-year-old has vacuumed the couch. Number 7, now this one is super important if you are dealing with kids with special needs, and that is to be specific. So a lot of kids don't really know what to do if you say, go and clean your room. But they do know what to do if you say, can you go in and pick up all the stuffed animals and put them in this basket? Can you go in and pick up all the clothes off the floor so we can decide what's dirty and clean? And so by breaking these tasks down for them into smaller, manageable tasks. If you have older kids, you can set out tasks, 2 or 3 at a time, and they will be able to manage that just fine. You can say to a teenager, hey, can you go in and get everything off the floor so I can come in and vacuum? And they can do that. For little children, it might be just a 1 step at a time. Again, you can work this into a game. With my little 4-year-old, I'll often get him to go and do something and then run back, sort of like I pretend I'm his boss and he's my employee, and he goes off and does something and then comes back, and then I come and evaluate him and tell him what a good job he's done. But then just giving him that one specific thing to do is much more achievable for kids, because they can't automatically walk into a space and know what needs to be done. Number 8, another one for the parents, is to lead by example. Start by, if you want your kids to make their bed, making sure that you make your bed. If you want your kids to pick up their towels, making sure that you do that too. Now, this might look like you being a good example, or perhaps if you've struggled with routines in the past and this is something that you're tackling as a whole family, you can get everyone on board at the same time. You can say, hey, I'm gonna work on making sure I remember to pick up my towel. Can you help me remember? And I'll help you remember, so that we're all working towards the same goals. It's really just how we would do everything in our life. If we lead by example, one, we're showing and teaching our kids exactly how we would like them to do things, but we're also not expecting something of them that we wouldn't do for ourselves. Number 9 is keep it doable. Keep it doable for that child and keep it doable for their age. So just knowing what your children are capable of and not comparing them to anybody else, breaking down those tasks like I mentioned before, but also just seeing if you have a child that maybe has, a really short attention span, that might mean that you need to set up their routines and their cleaning chores in a way that's either really short periods of time or where they can work alongside someone. So if they get distracted, there's someone there to help. So knowing where your kids excel in certain areas and knowing where they have difficulties, and then creating some cleaning tasks that are going to be specific for their needs is really helpful, particularly if you have little ones with special needs. These things might look completely different for your family than any other family, and that's okay, because what we want our kids to do is feel like they've achieved something. So if they feel like they can do it, they'll be so much happier and so much more willing to try again next time. Number 10 is a big one, and it is be gracious with your kids. I know as an adult, and as an adult who actually really enjoys cleaning, that there are times I forget to do things. There are days where I just don't feel like it. And so just acknowledging that that is a completely normal part of just being a human being, and being gracious to that. And reminding your kids doesn't have to be in a sort of commander way, that you can come in and come alongside your kids and be gracious to their needs. Now, I always say this when it comes up in my cleaning videos, that I do help my kids a lot, and the analogy I give is that I know how to make a cup of coffee just like my kids know how to make their bed. But if we've had a tough morning, I love it when someone makes a coffee for me, and I know they love it when I make their bed for them, particularly if they're going through a busy period, or maybe they just need a hand on a particular day. That being gracious and stepping in to help is, one, a great skill for them to see and learn for themselves, and also just allows them the time to have a bad day or not feel like doing something, but know that we can pick it up and do better next time. So guys, I hope that this has inspired you to maybe try some different tools in your parenting toolbox. If your kids are struggling with some cleaning motivation, and I know even I do, I would love to hear from you guys down in the comments if you have any more tips and tricks. You guys are so good at letting me know some really fun other ways. So if you are not already, make sure you check down in those comments, because they are gold. And I will catch you guys in the next one.